live with him? Do you have a relationship with him? Amen. Have you allowed him, amen, to bring you to that place? Here, Naaman was an honorable man. He was a mighty man, it says. Mighty man of valor, but he had an exception. He was wounded. He had been struck. Here, Israel, the king of Israel says, who am I? You know, what can I do about it? And then there are others that as the king of Israel said, I don't want to take on the devil. He's over in their life. Just keep him over there. Let him stay over there. Isn't that what he's saying? The king of Syria wanted to set a trap for him. Well, if I go and help that person, won't the devil come after me? Isn't that what he was saying? Yeah, he will. But you to rule, do you really know who you are? Do you know that you're a king? Amen? You rule with the king. So, in a real sense, we have to first get to that place where the king does rule in our lives. Amen? So that we can rule over in our life to help others, in the sense that we can bring deliverance to others. We can set others free. Amen? But he said here that the king said, what am I going to do about this? Why is he coming to me? I can't heal Naaman. Some of us can't heal ourselves. Why is that? Why didn't Naaman heal himself? Why didn't he go to the Lord? He said God had used him. He was a mighty man of valor. Didn't it say that back up in verse 1? Mighty man of valor. God had used him to deliver, and yet he was not delivered himself. He had been struck. He had been wounded. Amen. So he came to him. It's a trap. It's a trap. What am I going to do? It's a trap. That's what he said in verse 7. Verse 8 says, and so what it was, when Elisha, the man of God, had heard that the king of Israel had rent his clothes, then he sent to the king, saying, wherefore hast thou rent thy clothes? Let them come now to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet in Israel. Now there was a big difference between what the king of Israel did and the man of God that lived in Israel did. One said, I can't help him. This guy's setting me up. The other guy said, the man of God said, bring him over. No problem. Are you confident enough in your relationship, in your prayers, in your relationship with Jesus Christ that you can bring, amen, that deliverance, that God could use you, that you could be in that position in your life where anybody can walk up to you and get a healing? Anybody can walk up and get whatever help they need from you. You see, here it is. There's a difference, isn't it? One was a king, amen. One was a king over Israel. One ruled the physical kingdom, but there was really another man who ruled in the spiritual kingdom, and that was the man of God. The man of God. He knew. You see, he didn't worry about the king of Syria. What's the king of Syria? So what? You see, different attitude, amen? Different perspective on the circumstance, amen? Different perspective on the circumstances that were there. And so what it is, how do you get to be a man or woman of God? We're not talking about necessarily the calling. That you're chosen by God. But with regards to the way Elisha lived his life, amen, he heard from heaven. He heard from God. God told him specific things, what to do, what not to do, amen. He fellowshiped with God. And so he had that relationship with him. Let's go on. So Naaman, verse 9, came with his horses and with his chariot. Oh, and by the way, it says that, let's go on. So Naaman came with his horses and with his chariot and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. And Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, go and wash in Jordan 7 times, and thy flesh shall come again to thee, and thou shalt be clean. Okay, let's go on. But Naaman, verse 11, was wroth and went away and said, Behold, I thought he will surely come out to me and stand and call on the name of the Lord his God and strike his hand over the place and recover the leper. Wasn't the way he thought, was it? How many Christians today run to this person, run to that person, looking for a healing, looking for deliverance, when all the time if they would get on their knees and get that relationship going with Jesus Christ, that they would get their deliverance. Amen? They would be set free. They would get free of that which has struck them, that which has wounded the heart. Amen? That is the flesh. Every Christian, amen, regardless of their experience or how new or how recent they were born again, have had to deal with things where they've been struck or they've been wounded by. Amen? But in a real token, a real sense of it, it is the fact here that why was Naaman wroth? I mean, here it says he was a mighty man of valor. God was using him, but there was an exception. I really don't think that the leprosy was an exception. The leprosy was just a circumstance. What the exception here we see, and which begins to come to light, and I'll show you here. Let's drill down a little bit and show you what Naaman's real problem was, okay? Wasn't the leprosy. That really wasn't the exception. That was just a physical manifestation of what was happening in the spiritual side, amen? But what happened here? He said, I ain't going to go wash in the Jordan. Well, wait a minute. Whoa. What? He said, I'm not going to go wash in the Jordan. Surely, let's stay with verse 11. He said, just come out. How many of us want to go?